Hi guys, it's Kian. So today I'm back with another storytime video, and today we have Parker, my Kanadoll Adrian, with us here today. So he's kind of dressed in a vaguely punk-ish fashion. It's relevant to today's story. It's not his usual style of dressing, but we'll get into it. So today I'm gonna talk about how I first found out about BJDs, ball jointed dolls, and it wasn't through an online thing, which I think is probably the more common experience nowadays. So as the title reads, I first found out about BJDs at a cosplay or anime convention in Singapore. And I don't think I've told a lot of people about this, even my in real life doll friends, because I guess it just rarely comes up as a topic. So picture the year 2008, I think. I was like 14, 15, and at the time my best friend wanted me to accompany her to Cosfest, which is this cosplay festival in Singapore. And she told me that she was going to do a group cosplay with her classmates, none of which I knew, and I decided to go. So that was the time when I realized that people who cosplay actually need a really long time to prepare, to dress up and do all this stuff. And then since there wasn't a lot of toilets available, and I wasn't cosplaying, so they basically chased me out of the area because they needed a space. And then, so I was the only non-cosplayer person hanging around the group for a while. And then one of the other cosplayers' friend came. So this cosplayer's, when her friend came, what happened is she actually unzipped her bag, and inside her bag she took out something that was wrapped in like a scarf. And I was like, what is that? And then when she unwrapped the scarf, inside was a doll, and I don't fully recall now because it's been like more than 10 years, but I think the doll was in a black kind of coat. And then like all I remember is that it was a vaguely like punk kind of outfit, hence Parker dressing up like this today. Yeah. And that doll was actually an MSD, so he's not as big as Parker. He's like maybe 45 cm tall, the first doll that I saw. But given that is the first time I've ever encountered a ball joint doll in real life, it was pretty big to me. And she unwrapped that doll from her scarf, and then she passed that doll to her other non-cosplaying friend, and whose name I do not remember, unfortunately, since we only met on that one occasion. So this other non-cosplaying friend, who I'm gonna just term as doll babysitter, because I don't remember her name and it's a bit strange to give her one. So me and the doll babysitter, because we were chased out of the toilets, we ended up going to some cafe, and we were in the cafe for like an hour or two while our friends were getting ready in their cosplays. And during that whole time, so picture this like table, and then I was seated on one side, and then that friend was seated on the other side, and then she had a doll seated on the table, like, you know. So it's a pretty common setup, I guess. If you go to a cafe with your doll friends and it's a very small table, you know, you just sit the doll on the table. So the bad thing for me was that I was on the other side, right? So all I saw was the back of the doll the whole time, and I was so curious what was on the front. And then because it wasn't her doll either, like, she was taking care of the doll because I guess it was, you know, a bit troublesome to have it in the bag while the cosplaying friend was getting ready. But yeah, because it wasn't her doll, she wasn't like at liberty to be like, here, look at it, play with it, you know, that kind of stuff. So I was really, really quiet and really, really shy. And I didn't talk to her that much. I honestly do not remember the conversations we had. Probably just small talk. And then all I remembered was that I really wanted to see the doll. I think at one point, she did check under his shirt to see that he had a painted scar. And yeah, so fun fact, I actually know what doll this is. I found out afterwards that it is a doll zone hit. And I actually found a Carousel listing of the exact doll that I saw while trying to search for a company photo of doll zone hit to show you guys. So this is what the actual doll that I saw was, but this is obviously like many years later. So it was a doll zone hit with the default face up that had the scar around one eye and the scar on the chest, I guess, sort of like the Scarface says so. Yeah, so I think how I found out about the sculpt name, because I didn't actually have the courage. I wasn't close enough to the actual person who owned the doll to ask about it, and I didn't want to bother my friend too much. So I think I eventually found out about the sculpt only because I saw it while browsing Dollzone's company page. Yeah, and it could have just ended there, and like, it was a cosplay event, right? So first of all, there was already a lot of things to take in. It was my first time at a cosplay event, and I did watch anime during that time. I read a lot more manga than I watched anime, but it wasn't what I was really interested in. I was kind of fascinated by the cosplay culture overall. Like, it was really interesting just because it's like new and it's the first time I saw a lot of people just in costume and like posing for photos and stuff. But honestly, my mind was just preoccupied with the doll. I was just like, I want to see his face. But like, I was awkward and I didn't ask. And it was just really strange to me to ask the person babysitting the doll to show me a doll that was not hers. And I also thought it was really cool that she could cradle, is that the word? The doll in the arm. Yeah, I was basically just super fascinated by the doll. Yeah, so the whole day actually, I basically hung around and became a bag watcher for the cosplayers, which, if you've ever gone to a cosplay event or you've helped your friends when they're at a cosplay event, it's pretty common, but it felt really weird because I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was just gonna go to a cosplay event with my friend. Yeah, so that's like a different subculture altogether, right? Cosplaying. And yeah, that was where the, super awkward part came in. And then after that whole afternoon of me just hanging around watching their bags, and it was mostly me watching their bags because, the person babysitting the doll had a doll to look after, so she was kind of standing around, but she wasn't like really in charge of the bags the way I was. And then after the whole event ended, all of us, including my friend and her cosplaying group of friends, sat down in a circle on the grass, and then we had dinner, I think, or like some snacks. That was dinner. And it was vaguely like some sort of campfire because it was already late at night. But obviously there was no fire. And then I think around the group we talked. But again, I just remember really staring at the doll because by now he's finally back in the owner's hands, and I think I could see a bit more of his face. And I remembered that he had a really sharp nose, which was really cool to me. And I just wanted to know more about it, but because everybody was mainly talking about the cosplay event itself, it was really hard for me to ask about the doll. And then I don't remember what we talked about, but what happened after the event was that I made my friend ask the friend who actually owns the doll what it's called. And the answer I got was actually like really vague. So all I got back was that it's a dollfie, which is a term that I don't really use now because it really refers to the Vogue's Super Dollfie line. And yeah, but I think at that time, that friend also recommended I check out SG Cafe, which is a forum in Singapore for like cosplay. I mean, it's for a lot of things, but amongst it was like cosplay, and there was a dollfie section. And I obviously did that. So yeah, because that whole section was called Dolphy, and it encompassed both BJDs and Dolphy Dreams and any kind of vinyl dolls. I just, for the longest time, I used to call Gabby my Dolphy, and then now it sounds so strange to hear it because I just call them my dolls or BJDs. But for a really long time, that was what I was calling them. I was like, this is so cool, I'm gonna call them my Dolphy. Yeah, a bit cringy, but you know, that's how the teenage years were like. And then, yeah, that's a really long and rambly story of how I found out about BJDs. And I think it was really fun to dress Parker up in this kind of like punk-ish outfit. This is actually Gabby's first ever wig. Because it kind of just brought back the memory. I think back in 2008, it was like a really popular aesthetic. There wasn't that many type of clothing available, so punk-ish was kind of like a pretty common style then. When I first got my doll, like Gabby, I really liked the punk style. I think like I've shared photos of him before where he was kind of dressed in punk style. I still really like those outfits, but they just don't fit in with what I want nowadays. But still it was fun to kind of do this sort of throwback. So yeah. So since I shared how I found out about BJDs today, let me know how you found out about BJDs. And were you drawn to them like I was from the start? Or was it more of like a slow thing, like you first knew about them and then slowly you got curious and started to want to own a BJD? So let me know in the comments below how you found out about BJDs, and if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!